Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
On Tuesday, February 3rd, 2004, 14-year-old Michael Hernandez showed up late to his computer lab class, according to a fellow student named Megan. They went to school at Southwood Middle School in Palmetto Bay, a suburb near Miami, Florida. Megan was curious. She asked him why he wasn't on time. The answer she got? Michael walked into a door and went to the health clinic. Megan looked him over. She eyed the large stain of blood on the collar of his shirt. She also saw blood on his blue jeans and on one of his sneakers. It was from a nosebleed, Michael explained to his classmates. Michael had already left an impression on Megan, who was only in 6th grade. She sat next to him in first period computer class and often noticed Michael visiting websites that posted nude pictures and images of decapitated bodies. Michael didn't like to be touched, nor did he want anyone to touch his book bag, Megan would later tell police. Michael had spoken about his sister, who went into his bedroom uninvited. He showed Megan the screwdriver he used to keep his sister out. On the morning of February 3rd, Michael seemed uptight. When another girl quizzed him further about the blood, he snapped at her, asking to be left alone. He then asked his teacher, Claudette Livermore, if he could go to the bathroom to clean his clothes. Ms. Livermore saw the blood stain on the front of his shirt and asked what happened. Michael said someone pushed a door in his face and gave him a bloody nose. Strangely, though, she didn't see any blood on Michael's face. When he came back, the normally playful and chatty Michael seemed upset. The blood wouldn't come off. He asked Ms. Livermore for advice on how to clean his clothes. According to the police report, she suggested using soap and water and/or wiping the area with a paper towel. Michael asked to go to the bathroom a second time before the 9 a.m. bell rang. When Michael came back to class, his clothes looked wet, one student remembered. As the computer lab class went on, an emergency started to unfold at the school. A warning came on over the loudspeakers. The students at Southwood were on lockdown. Nobody was allowed in or out of the school for several hours. Helicopters took off, flying in the air, hovering over them. Ms. Livermore tried to keep order in her class and instructed her students to keep working at their computers, but she asked one of them to look online and see what was going on at the school. By now, the news was breaking to the public and was popping up everywhere online. A student had been murdered. The cause of death was some kind of sharp object. Ms. Livermore and her students were stunned. Michael offered his thoughts. Maybe a knife was the sharp object, he said. If a gun had been used, the students would have heard it go off, he pointed out. 2 or 3 hours into the lockdown, Michael asked to go to the bathroom a third time. He still hadn't been able to get the blood off his clothes. Because of the lockdown, a security guard escorted him. But unbeknownst to Michael, Ms. Livermore had flagged her bloody student to a Miami-Dade detective and a school assistant principal. This from the police report. Quote, while this investigator waited in the classroom, Ms. Livermore called Michael Hernandez from his seat where he was seated along with other students and appeared, from this detective's perspective, that he was jovial and laughing with the other students. But when Ms. Livermore instructed Michael to go to the office, Megan heard Michael mumble, "Shit. I don't know why they want me. I only had a nosebleed," Michael said before he left. This is Jillian, and in partnership with Law and Crime, you are listening to Court Junkie, episode 173. Jaime Gough was 14 years old. He was quiet, shy, and polite. He was described as baby-faced, wearing glasses and playing violin in the school orchestra. He was learning how to play guitar, too. He was enrolled in honors classes, and he liked the Ninja Turtles. Jaime was a middle schooler at Southwood Middle School, where he dealt with crushes and bullies during what's often those tough adolescent years. Jaime had gotten picked on by other students on the bus rides home, although he told his mom it had gotten better recently at Southwood. He had a crush on an 8th grader at school who didn't seem to realize he liked her. She thought they were just good friends. The girl had a boyfriend, but Jaime drew her a picture to cheer her up when she was having relationship problems. On Tuesday, February 3rd, 2004, Jaime was found dead in a second-floor boys' bathroom stall. He had been stabbed multiple times. Investigators from the Miami-Dade Police Department interviewed Jaime's classmates, his teachers, and family members. They wanted to know who Jaime was friends with and what he had been like. During their interviews with the students' parents or a school employee was usually by their side. Investigators pieced together more information about Jaime. He didn't appear to have any enemies. He liked to chat online with his friends. He was picked on in the past over his weight and felt depressed, but as he got older in middle school, his classmates treated him better. But investigators also uncovered that Jaime had a questionable friend. Jaime's cousin, Jessica, remembered disturbing details Jaime once shared with her about his new friend. She told the police she couldn't remember the friend's name. Quote, Jaime had met this friend at the end of the last year or the beginning of this school year. Jessica stated that according to Jaime, this friend had referred to them as the Columbine brothers. She went on to say this friend had talked to Jaime a great deal about masturbation and pornography, as well as subjects regarding death and killing. Jaime described this friend as very smart and anal. The girl who Jaime had a crush on and drew the picture for told authorities Jaime was good friends with a boy named Michael Hernandez. The girl remembered seeing Jaime hanging out with Michael before school by the fence near the teacher's parking lot. Others echoed the girl's remarks. Jaime was often seen with Michael. They sat together in the same honors class, and they walked down the hallways together. Sometimes they even had to be separated in class because Michael made Jaime laugh so much. When they weren't together on the day of Jaime's death, it stood out, one girl said. She called it weird. Police developed a profile of who Michael Hernandez was. Several teachers said they didn't notice anything unusual about Michael in their classes. He was outgoing and playful, often chatting with his classmates. Flirty, even. He was popular, some said. Yes, Michael might be in a hurry, and he seemed a bit compulsive, but he didn't do anything that stood out, according to some teachers. Michael wasn't a troublemaker. He was enrolled in honors classes and got good grades. But multiple students also told police that Michael was obsessed with violence and gore and serial killers. According to his classmates, while other students put smiley faces on their desktop screensavers, Michael's screensaver was filled with decapitated heads or a scary clown or something gory and creepy. One girl questioned Michael about the dark images on the screen. I like them, Michael told her. A month earlier, Michael's friends had gathered around his computer as he showed them graphic artwork of a man stabbing somebody in a bloody scene. According to the police report, one student, Isaac, said, quote, approximately 1 month ago, Michael approached him and other students in their business technology class, requesting permission to illustrate a physical defense maneuver on them. He indicated to him that if you apply pressure to the front open area of someone's neck, that it would cause them to stop breathing. However, no one agreed to allow him to demonstrate this maneuver on them. Michael's family would later say that his behavior was sometimes odd or compulsive. He was incredibly neat. He collected Bibles. He opened and shut the garage door multiple times after dinner, wrote meticulous to-do lists that included daily prayers, and only wanted to eat certain foods on certain days of the week, according to court depositions. He was obsessed with his handwriting. He ate the same thing for lunch every day, Summit School said. His parents thought Michael would be perfect for the military someday because he liked following a strict routine. They considered having a psychologist meet with Michael because of his quirky behavior and the lack of eye contact he showed with them, but they were waiting until after Michael's midterms. Still, Michael's parents didn't believe Michael was seriously troubled. In interview after interview with the media, they said they loved their son, who was smart and inquisitive and interested in the world around him. They said he showed no signs of any rage building up inside his head. But little did they know then, this wasn't even the first time Michael had tried to kill someone. An 8th grader named Elise heard a troubling story from her friend, Andre Martin, that she shared with police. A day before Jaime's death, quote, Michael had gone into the bathroom with both Andre and Jaime under the guise of showing them something. Elise went on to say that Andre was asked by Michael to go into the handicapped stall in order to show him something. Elise said that Andre refused, and at one point, Jaime said that he would go into the stall. Michael made a comment to Jaime that he would be next. The bathroom stall that Michael wanted to show them was the same one where Jaime was killed the next day. It seemed beyond a coincidence. Police tracked down Andre to hear his account directly. As Andre spoke to a homicide detective, his mother was by his side. Andre had known Michael since 3rd grade, and the two were friends. Occasionally, they had sleepovers or visited each other's houses. He said Michael was fascinated by violence, sex, and death. Andre said he was pulling away and was growing more distant from Michael. He didn't like his friend's morbid interests. Michael once commented how being a serial killer would be cool. Back in the days of Blockbuster, Michael rented slasher movies. He was a big fan of horror films, especially the Friday the 13th series. He was fascinated by the movie's villain, Jason Voorhees, Andre said. Andre told the detectives that Michael would tell him about websites he visited that taught how to use martial arts techniques to incapacitate and injure people. He said Michael had once asked if he could demonstrate a specific technique on him, but Andre refused. Michael also researched mental illnesses on the internet and diagnosed himself with one, although Andre couldn't remember which one Michael claimed to have. Michael said his mother was going to take him to a psychologist. According to Andre, Michael kept a screwdriver in his pocket, and once he even tried to stab another boy with it. Andre saw Michael with a black-handled knife with a fancy blade a few months earlier. The knife belonged to Michael's father. Michael told Andre he used a razor to cut himself. Michael said he needed the pain. According to the police report, here's what Andre said about his encounter with Michael the day before Jaime's death. Quote, Andre was then questioned regarding the day previous to the victim's death. Andre advised that he was walking down the hallway before school and observed Michael and Jaime walking together. Andre was stopped and asked to follow them to the bathroom, and he complied. he noticed that Michael was wearing a red jacket, which he thought was odd because it was not a cold day, nor was Michael known to wear jackets, even when it was cold. He advised that they entered the bathroom and Jaime was asked to stand watch at the bathroom door. He stated that Michael walked over to the handicapped stall and asked if Andre would step inside in order to show him something. Andre stated that he observed Michael remove a hat from a pocket in the jacket and put it on his head. He thought again that this was strange because Michael never wore hats. After putting on the hat, Michael became very persistent in trying to get him into the handicapped stall. Andre asked Michael what he wanted to show him, and Michael continued to just try to get him into the stall and would not say what this item was. Andre continued by saying that when he continued to refuse, Jaime volunteered to be shown this item first, but was told by Michael that he would be next. Andre said Michael continued to ask him to step into the stall, but because of Michael's behavior, he didn't feel comfortable doing so. Andre advised that when the bell rang, they decided to go to class, but not before Michael told them, "I will show you tomorrow." Andre advised that the following day he heard about the death of Jaime and that the victim was killed in the same restroom that they had all been in the day before. On the same day as Jaime's murder, a Miami-Dade detective interviewed Michael Hernandez for the first time. The interview took place in a school office. The following is from the police report. Quote, according to Michael Hernandez, he advised that Jaime had seemed tense this past week and the week previous. He had asked Jaime what was going on, and Jaime told him that he couldn't tell him. Michael believed that it involved money that Jaime owed to someone, because Jaime had asked if he could borrow $20 to $30 last week. Michael told him that he didn't have it, and according to Michael, Jaime told him that no one had any money. Michael then gave his version of what transpired in the bathroom that morning. He said as the late bell went off, Michael realized he left his jacket in the first floor bathroom and went back to get it. He then went back upstairs to see where Jaime was. He walked back into the second floor bathroom where he saw a, quote, tall kid wearing a red shirt with puffy black hair. The tall kid spoke. He told Michael someone was in the stall. Michael didn't look inside the bathroom stall. He just left, the police report said. Michael also advised that there was someone else in the bathroom, but he couldn't describe him. How did Michael hurt himself? The detective asked about the blood on his clothes. Michael said that he and Jaime had raced to the door that morning, and Jaime closed the door on him so Michael couldn't get inside. When Jaime opened the door again, it hit Michael in the mouth, and he started to bleed. According to the police report, the investigator pointed out that there were no cuts or bruises on him, and that for him to have bled, he had to have an open wound. Michael then changed his story. Michael now admitted to being involved, but blamed Jaime's death on someone nicknamed Sangre. Sangre was the one who did it. He said Sangre asked Michael if he had a knife and instructed him to get Jaime into the bathroom. Sangre then stabbed Jaime. Michael said he had brought the knife to school and given it to Sangre, who then killed Jaime while Michael held his friend against the wall. Michael said he turned away while it happened, but that his shirt touched the bathroom floor and dipped into the blood. Investigators interviewed classmates and teachers, none of whom knew anyone known as Sangre. They did, however, know that Sangre is Spanish for blood. While interviewing Michael at the school office, a detective asked if he could look into Michael's book bag, which contained not only his lunch, but a bloody windbreaker jacket and a bloody latex glove. Michael's mother had purchased a box of latex gloves for her son after he told her he needed them for a school science project. Seeing the bloody items, the detective stopped searching his bag. He asked Michael to go to the police department to continue the interview. Michael agreed. That afternoon, Michael and the detectives arrived at the Homicide Bureau office. Nearly at the same time, the chief medical examiner, Dr. Bruce Jaime, contacted a police sergeant to let him know Jaime's manner of death was a homicide. He had been stabbed more than 40 times. Michael was advised of his Miranda rights. And without Michael's parents present or an attorney there, the police interview began on February 3rd, 2014. Whether the audio recording could be used in the state's criminal case against Michael would later become a debated issue in court. It was the day after Michael's 14th birthday. Michael sat straight in his chair with perfect posture, and the recorded interview began.
For the record, could you please state your name?
Michael Hernandez.
And Michael, where do you live?
9364 Southwest 172nd Terrace. 172nd Terrace.
That's in Miami?
Yes, it is.
Mike, what's your birth date?
February 2nd, 1990.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So you just turned 14?
Yes, I did.
Very good. And what grade are you in?
I'm in the 8th grade.
In the interview, Michael said he asked Jaime to go inside school early with him, a little after 8:30 a.m. It was against the rules. Students weren't supposed to be upstairs in the school that early. Michael then matter-of-factly ran through the day's events, step by step. This time, he didn't try to make up a story as he had done earlier. Why did he want Jaime to go to school early with him? I was planning to murder him, Michael said, his voice showing zero emotion.
Why did you make the suggestion to Jaime to go inside the school today?
I was planning to murder him.
Do you know why you were going to do this?
No, I don't.
Now, what was your plan? How were you going to accomplish this?
I was going to get him into the stall, the last stall because it's the biggest, so I'd have more room.
Now, this isn't a restroom?
This is the restroom.
On which floor?
2nd floor.
Okay, and it's the male restroom?
Yes, it is.
Where is it near?
It is near the media center and the gifted U.S. history class.
Okay. And once you brought or got Jaime in there, how were you going to bring him or lure him into the restroom?
We usually go to the restroom after we get upstairs so we don't get caught by security.
Okay.
And so I knew that was going to work. I got him into the stall by saying, look, I have something to show you. So I got him into the stall and I told him to turn around because I wanted it to be a surprise.
The detective asked if Jaime asked him why he was putting gloves on, and he said no. Michael said he then closed the door.
Now, what transpired next?
Okay, I was talking to him and I told him, all right, now I have to put my hand over your mouth.
Okay.
And so I did, and I lifted his neck up.
Now, was he facing you or was he away from you?
He was away from me.
Did you put your hand over his mouth?
Yes, I did.
And which hand did you use to put over his mouth?
My left hand.
He said he took the knife out of his jacket pocket and then proceeded to slit his throat. I have to warn you, the calm way in which he describes this is chilling.
Now, do you remember in which direction you slit his throat?
Left to right.
Did Jaime say or do anything? Did he put up a struggle?
Yes, he did. He turned around after I did that. He asked me not to kill him. So I told him, okay, I'm not going to if you cooperate.
Okay.
Which was a lie.
Right.
And so I realized that the stall door was open, so I locked it.
Yes.
And then I turned him around again and proceeded to stab him.
And where did you stab him, Mike?
I'm not positively sure, but I'm guessing around the jugular vein right around here.
Okay.
That's what I was aiming for.
Did you stab him anywhere else on his body?
Just basically the back of the neck, all through the neck.
Okay.
And once in the temple, and I think I sliced him here.
And that would be on the left side of his face?
Yes, the left side of the face.
He said afterwards he took his gloves off and flushed the toilet. He washed his hands and face in the sink, and then left the bathroom and went to another one downstairs.
After you stabbed him, Did Jamie fall to the commode or to the toilet?
No, he did not. He was already positioned where he was found. I put his head under there to stop him from gasping for air.
Okay.
So it would close it up.
Oh, I see. Okay, now. I'm sorry?
So he would stop making noise.
Okay. Now, how did you know he was dead?
I made sure by taking my knife, the point of my knife, and poking him in the face.
All right.
And I checked his eyes also, and they were motionless.
He said his knife was broken, but he tried to close it as much as he could and put it back into his jacket pocket. When he got to the other bathroom, he wiped himself off and put his jacket in his book bag. But then he decided to go back to the scene.
Now, before you gloved up this morning in the bathroom, did you remove any of your jewelry?
I removed my rings because they would have cut through the latex glove.
Okay. Did anything unusual, or did you notice anything unusual when you put your hand in your jacket pocket after the incident?
Yes, one of my rings was missing.
And which ring was that?
It was the ring on my right ring finger.
So, what did you do?
I went back upstairs to find the ring. There was a witness there saying that someone was in that stall. I went to go look, having known what was there. And I saw my ring and picked it up and then left.
Okay. Had you gone up there actually to check to see if Jamie was okay?
No, I have not. No, I did not.
It was strictly to check on your ring?
My ring, yes.
And why did you want to recover your ring?
Because I value my jewelry.
Okay. Do people know that you wear that type of ring?
Yes. Many people know I wear this type of jewelry.
Could someone have identified you because of the lost ring?
Yes, they could have identified this ring, definitely.
He said before he decided to do this, he asked his dad for some knives, and his dad gave him one.
Let me ask you this. Is there any particular reason why you did this to Jamie?
No, there's not.
Did he offend you in any way?
No, he did not.
Did he harm you in any way?
No, he did not.
Why would Michael kill his good friend? The detective seemed to be searching for a motive.
Had you planned to do this to Jamie?
Yes, I did.
How long have you had this plan?
A little under a week.
And is there any specific reason why you planned this?
No, there's not.
Why did you choose Jamie, your friend?
He was the easiest out of anybody because he would have followed me because we're such good friends. And I knew he would have followed me in there and done what I would have said.
Now, Mike, you know the difference between right and wrong, correct?
Yes, I do.
Do you think what you did is right or wrong?
No, I don't.
Well, what don't you think?
I think it is neither right, but I don't think it was wrong.
Do you know what you did is wrong?
Yes, I do.
Is this the first time that you have been involved in something like this, Michael?
Yes, it is.
Are you sorry that this happened today?
No, I'm not.
Michael also admitted he had tried to lure his other friend, Andre Martin, into the bathroom the day before.
What were your intentions yesterday?
My intentions yesterday were to kill Andre. The same way that I killed Jamie today, except for the fact that I was going to stab him in the back and stab here, and that would have been it.
Detectives collected Michael's clothes and took photographs of him to submit into evidence. One detective noticed something on his left forearm and the palm of his right hand. Razor marks. At first, Michael tried to say the wounds were nothing. Then he opened up. From the police report, quote, he advised this investigator that they were self-inflicted wounds and that he utilized a razor to inflict wounds to relieve stress. Michael Hernandez further began to show this investigator other areas of his body where he had inflicted wounds upon himself. Michael Hernandez then advised this investigator that he had not inflicted any wounds upon himself in 2 weeks. Michael asked the detective about his journal. He was worried and wanted to make sure he had it. The detective explained that police had a search warrant for Michael's book bag, so he wouldn't be allowed to get his items back since they were going to be turned over as evidence. Why did Michael want his journal so badly? Michael said he was writing a book and he didn't want anyone to judge him. I don't want anyone to think that I'm Hannibal Lecter, a psychological killer, and I don't want people to think that's me, Michael said. His parents didn't even know that he had kept a journal, but soon the contents would become public. Authorities released the journal's excerpts to local media as part of the discovery process before Michael's trial. Some of the excerpts seemed to be quite normal of a 14-year-old teenage boy. They showed that Michael was inquisitive, thoughtful, and religious. He wrote about wanting to celebrate Jesus' birth and spend time with his family during Christmas. He seemed focused on his schoolwork. Quote, "My goals for this school year are simple. I just want to get good grades and learn as much as I can. Also, to try to make a good impression on my teachers so I get good recommendations for high school. I want to absorb as much knowledge so I can seem intelligent when I have a conversation or anything else." But other parts of the journal were disturbing, to say the least. Michael had written a hit list. One of the targets was his older sister. Another was Jaime. He wrote in a sprawling script and was methodical in how he wanted to carry it out. Here's an excerpt published in the Miami Herald about Michael's journal. Quote, "Atop one page of the spiral-bound journal Michael carried to school the day of the killing, he wrote the word planning. Lead A to the bathroom," he wrote on a list numbered 1 to 8. He continued, "Make his corpse sit on the toilet. This will be done early. Follow number 1, but with Jaime. Follow number 2, but with Jaime's corpse. Take off hat, gloves, tape, and jacket, and put into book bag. Put knife in the back opening. Make sure they are dead. Make sure there is no one in the bathrooms. If so, kill them." The final item on the planning list. Thank God for success. Detectives alerted Jaime's father that Michael had been arrested. They asked for Jaime's computer to look for evidence since Michael and Jaime had communicated back and forth online. The family voluntarily handed it over. Jaime's parents spoke with an assistant state attorney. Their son previously shared with them that he was the only one who didn't see Michael as a bad person. But Jaime worried about his friend. Michael was obsessed with his possessions and bacteria and germs. Michael also seemed envious of Jaime's parents, commenting about what a good mother and father they were. Jaime urged Michael to get help, he had told his parents. After the sign-off from a judge at midnight, police obtained a search warrant for Michael's black backpack. Among the contents inside was a Tommy Hilfiger jacket with bloodstains on it, 2 latex gloves, a ruler, journals, playing cards, scissors, and a baseball cap. Inside the backpack's hidden compartment was a serrated knife. Police also obtained a search warrant for Michael's room and for his computer. According to the Miami Herald, when going through Michael's computer, authorities would find documents about brainwashing, computer hacking, bomb making, and martial arts, as well as one 118-page manual called How to Become an Assassin and another called How to Kill Someone. Michael's parents were fully cooperative with investigators. They wanted to know details about the investigation, but the police declined to brief them on their son's case at first because the investigation was still ongoing. Michael's parents grappled with their son's actions. They publicly said they hadn't known their son carried such violent, angry thoughts and could hurt someone. They were horrified that their daughter, who had a normal sibling relationship with her brother, was also one of Michael's intended targets. "He's never been in any kind of trouble," Michael's father told the Miami Herald. "This came totally out of left field. We don't know how to cope with this." Michael's father told investigators that his son behaved at home and was studious. He was enrolled in honors classes and brought home A's and B's on his report card. The Miami Herald wrote, quote, "They know everyone has the same question. Didn't you see any signs that your son might have a troubled mind?" "We wonder all the time," Michael's mother told the newspaper. "What did we miss? What should we have seen? Should we have seen anything? Michael was doing well in school. By all accounts, he seemed happy." Meanwhile, media trucks were parked outside their house. The media attention was relentless. The family quickly got a defense attorney to represent Michael, who was going to be charged as an adult for first-degree murder. They cashed out their 401k and mortgaged their home, going into debt to pay for the mounting legal expenses over the years. Others who knew Michael were also shocked by the violent crime he had confessed to. Sharon, a parent of a classmate, had known Michael's family for 16 years and drove Michael to school in a carpool. Michael was a normal kid, Sharon said. Sharon drove her daughter, another girl, and Michael to school. Michael usually quietly listened to his headphones on the ride. On the day of the murder, it was Michael's birthday, and they sang to him. He smiled and thanked them. Michael's family had a dog, and Michael was nice to animals. Sharon said she didn't see any signs he did drugs or had any mental health issues. As far as she knew, Michael's parents were lovely people who were not abusive. She also said that Michael liked scary movies. Didn't most teenagers? In addition to Michael's own words, investigators had an eyewitness who placed Michael inside the bathroom on the day Jaime was killed. A boy named Brian told the detective that he saw a white male with blonde hair, wearing a white t-shirt, walking out of the bathroom that morning. Brian looked at Michael's yearbook picture and confirmed that was the boy he had seen. At times, some of the witnesses' testimony is hard to read in the police report without thinking, what if this person had been able to stop it? Andrea Floyd, Michael and Jaime's speech and debate teacher, said that in the days leading up to the homicide, 3 students approached her and said that they saw Michael with a knife at school. The incident wasn't reported because, quote, they never believed anyone was in danger, the teacher said in the police report. On the day of Jaime's death, one boy named Jared had gone to the bathroom that morning and heard a noise coming from the stall. It sounded like a person who couldn't speak. Quote, Jared advised that he looked underneath the front of the stall and he saw 2 boys standing inside. One of the boys had his hand over the other boy's mouth. He described that individual, the one with the hand over the individual's mouth, as a white male. Jared advised that the person being held was trying to take this person's hands away from his mouth. He advised that the individual was brown-skinned with black hair and was wearing glasses. It's a description that matched Jaime, who wore glasses and was of Dominican descent. The report continued. Jared heard some type of liquid falling into the toilet, but he couldn't tell what it was. At first, he thought they might be playing. Jared advised that he returned to the urinal, flushed the toilet, washed his hands, and left. Jared told a friend waiting outside what he had seen and heard. His friend brushed it off. It was probably just 2 guys fooling around. Jared, who noted he never heard any words or screams coming from the stall, went on to his class without sounding any alarms. Around 9 a.m. that morning, another boy who the report said had a learning disability and a psychological disorder saw Jaime lying in a pool of blood in the bathroom. Jaime was hardly moving, and he seemed to be choking. The boy left the bathroom and then came back a minute later. Jaime had stopped choking. The boy went on to his first period class. He didn't tell anyone, not even his teacher, what he had witnessed. According to the police report, the boy was unable to tell police why he hadn't taken action. On that same day, another boy, Christian, walked into the boys' bathroom 2 minutes before the morning bell rang, as Michael wiped off his hands with a paper towel. Christian didn't remember seeing any blood on Michael, except for some blood on his shoes. Michael wiped them off with the paper towel, too. "Today's my birthday, for real," Michael said to Christian. "Cool," Christian answered. Christian moved on. That moment in the bathroom seemed uneventful at the time. Soon, Christian would likely be distracted by the chaotic, unusual school day. He went back to class where, before the period ended, the school went into a code red. Christian stayed home from school the following day. The television was on, and he caught the 12 o'clock news. Michael's picture appeared on the screen. Suddenly, Christian realized who it was, the boy who had wiped off his shoes, the boy who was excited about his birthday. He reported it to the police. After Jaime's death, his family returned to Southwood Middle School and released butterflies, one of Jaime's favorite insects, to honor him during a ceremony in 2005. One of the butterflies didn't fly away like the others. It stayed on the shoulder of Jaime's mother. The family told the Miami Herald that they felt love in that moment, that Jaime was okay. Four years after Jaime's death, Michael stood trial in 2008. In addition to first-degree murder, he was also charged with premeditated attempted murder for trying to lure Andre Martin into the bathroom. He was charged as an adult. Michael's attorney mounted a defense pre-trial. Michael had committed the crime and killed his classmate and good friend. There was no contesting the facts. But Michael was legally insane when he did it. Michael's brain was scanned and analyzed at a children's hospital, and his defense attorney hired a neuropsychologist. He also hired a New York psychology professor who testified that Michael was a delusional schizophrenic and didn't understand the judicial system or the seriousness of his crime. Meanwhile, prosecutors disputed that Michael was legally insane. A Miami-Dade County judge sided with the defense. He agreed that Michael was mentally ill, but ruled he was still competent to stand trial. Michael's attorney also argued that his client's recorded confession should not be played during the trial, since neither a defense attorney nor Michael's parents were there. Michael couldn't have understood the Miranda rights being read to him, he said. But the defense attorney lost that argument, and so during the trial, jurors listened to Michael's chilling, emotionless confession. Prosecutors said Michael had killed his friend without mercy and in cold blood. At trial, Michael's classmates and school employees testified. Andre Martin, who had escaped from the bathroom, also took the stand to give his account. The jury found Michael guilty. At age 18, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole for killing Jaime. It was a mandatory sentence under Florida law. Another 30 years was added on for Michael's attempt to kill Andre. Michael's attorney argued it was unfair for Michael, a mentally ill teenager, to be going to prison instead of getting the help that he needed. According to the Miami Herald, he said, quote, "This is the juvenile death penalty. This is what we all fear the most for our children, that a child can be locked away to die." Over the years, the legal punishment for juvenile offenders began to undergo new scrutiny. In 2012, the Supreme Court banned automatic life sentences without parole for juveniles who were convicted of serious crimes. The ruling set into motion a new sentencing hearing for Michael in 2016. Just prior to the hearing, prison calls Michael had with family members and newfound friends were released to the public. Among them, a call he had with a woman he had met on a prison pen pal site. In the call, made public by CBS Miami, they joke about him having to learn how to cry.
"Oh, why don't you practice your weekend learning how to cry?"
Oh, my God. God, man, I may have to stab myself.
Oh, my God.
I try to bring a sharp object to the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something in your hand, Mr. Hernandez? No. Stab. Oh, see, I can cry.
In February 2016, Michael took the stand at his hearing, and this time he tearfully apologized for killing Jaime.
And I'm sorry for what I did to him. And it hurts me how sensitive it was because he was always such a good friend to me. And I wanted to apologize to his family, to his mother, and his father, because I didn't always feel this way.
He said he now realizes that what he did was wrong, and he told the judge that he hopes to be released and get married and have kids one day. A defense expert testified that Michael had a mental disorder when he was younger that had gone untreated, and that he can still be a productive member of society today. The prosecutor, however, did not agree.
How'd you muster up those tears?
I feel horrible about what I did.
Yeah, so horrible to say, I may have to stab myself. Even your mother says to you, try and muster up some emotion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because as you sit here today, you cry on cue. That's what you do.
No, ma'am.
The judge sided with the prosecution. He resentenced Michael, who was now 26 years old, to life in prison again. But unbeknownst to everyone, Michael's sentence would end up not being a lengthy one. Within 5 years, he was dead. 31-year-old Michael died on April 29, 2021, at the Columbia Correctional Institution near Jacksonville, Florida, according to media reports. Health officials confirmed his death was not connected to the coronavirus pandemic, which has been an issue spreading in prisons in Florida. Michael's cause of death was from heart problems, cardiac dysrhythmia attributed to morbid obesity, multiple outlets reported. Jaime's parents told local media they were shocked by the death of their son's killer. It wasn't joyful news, however. They expressed their sadness, sharing their sympathies for Michael's parents, just as Michael's parents had spoken of their grief for Jaime's family when Jaime was murdered. State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle issued a statement, quote, Jaime Gough's brutal murder ended a promising young life and forever scarred his family. For them, this news still must tear at their hearts. I have always felt that Michael Hernandez's family were also Michael's victims. Upon his conviction, Michael Hernandez's family was also scarred by Michael's actions. My sympathies to both families. There's one final twist in this story. Andre Martin, the boy who survived Michael's first murder attempt, grew up and joined the Miami-Dade police force, according to the Associated Press. His exposure to the criminal justice system and his interactions with detectives at such a young age propelled him to a career in law enforcement. Andre became a detective himself. According to the Associated Press, his mentor, whom he met during the 2004 murder investigation, said, quote, he took that tragedy that happened and used it as fuel. And that's all for this episode. This episode was researched and written by Gabrielle Russon. Don't forget to follow Court Junkie on Instagram at Court Junkie, on Twitter at Court Junkie Pod, and on YouTube at youtube.com/courtjunkie. To hear these episodes without the ads or to check out additional bonus episodes, head on over to courtjunkie.com/support to see my Patreon options. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.